the winning goal, which we have been speaking in the last two episodes about what we mean by winning and what we mean by having a real mentality for competition. Right at the beginning we spoke that the nature of the Muslim is that he should try to win, he should try to be at the front, he should try to be successful, achieve. And then we spoke later on about the importance of having a competitive nature, because we said that this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala invites us to do, this is what the Prophet ﷺ used to do and invites us to do, and that was the nature of the Sahaba. Those who were at the forefront, those are the people who had the mention, were those people who wanted to actually achieve their success. They wanted to win, they wanted to get there, they wanted to be at the front, they want to be at the top, not so that they can boast or they can be arrogant or look down on people, but rather so that they can, they want to be at the forefront in achieving what they have been set out to do. To please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most important reality in winning. You have to have that as your focus. That has to be your center in everything, because we know that إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ actions are by intentions. If you have the right intention with any type of action which is halal, which is acceptable, then that intention will make your work rewardable by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether it's eating, drinking, whether it's playing, whether it's sleeping, whether it's working, whether it's studying, whether it's doing business, anything. So that's why we were talking about this aspect of competitive nature. And today, continuing from this aspect of the winning goal, we're going to really, inshallah, talk about more now practical steps as individuals. Inshallah, we'll be speaking for a little bit, and then after that we welcome your questions, we welcome any comments that you may have or any participations that you want to do. Feel free to call us. The telephone number is there on the screen, so inshallah if you just want to phone in, then we'll receive your call in the second part of the show. So first of all, we want to talk about, we have to understand that some people think that Islam is just about the akhirah. Islam is just about the next life. But the reality is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put you here in this life, in this context, in this time, in this place that you are in, so that He would see what you would do. He would see what you do. Allah says, ثُمَّ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ خَلَائِفَ الْأَرْضِ. We made you those who were successors in the earth after them. لِنَنْظُرَ كَيْفَ تَعْمَلُونَ. So that we can see how you do, what your actions. So your dunya, this time that you're in, the space that you're in, the place that you're in, this is the time to work. This is the time to show, this is the time to achieve. So we have to understand first of all that Islam wants us to make the best of this dunya with the right intention. Remember we said that is the core, right intention, and do that for the akhirah. Because if you do that for the akhirah, anticipate Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you reach Allah, you'll be so much happy. And that's why when we talk about winning, when we talk about success, being successful, we're talking about being successful in this life and the next. The most important success is the next life. But in this life, you have to be successful as well. And that's why we have to look at how Islam encouraged achievements, encouraged success, encouraged being at the front, encouraged prosperity. The Muslim who has money and is wealthy and has skills, is professional, that's excellent. That's what we want. That's what Islam encourages. Islam doesn't say to the Muslim, go and spend all your life, all your time in the masjid. No. In fact, when Omer ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu anhu, he went to the masjid and found a couple of people, just staying in the masjid and not doing any work. He said, who is it that's going to feed you? Where's your rizq going to come from? Because the sky does not rain gold or silver. And he hit them, which is just a reminder to get up, go and do your work. Go and achieve. Go and achieve. Go out there, use your potential. And it's all about having a balanced life. Because if you are not balanced in your life, you will neither be here nor there. It's no good being someone who is focused on the akhirah and having neglected the rights and the rights of those around you in the dunya. Your parents, your wife, your children, your relatives, your neighbors, your guests, all these people have a right over you. In addition to your Lord having a right over you, in addition to yourself having a right over you. So this is what we're talking about here. It's about achievement. And when we talk about achievement, we talk really, first of all, important thing, and this is my advice to you today, inshallah, is about having a vision, setting your goal for this dunya. What do you want to achieve? And when we talk about what you want to achieve, you, my dear viewer, have to ask the question, what do I want? What do I want in life? You know, what am I out there to do? And you have to ask yourself the question, first of all, who do I want to please? And the answer should be Allah, first of all, because remember, intention is the core of your action. So you have to have that in your mind. But secondly, you have to start thinking, what do I want to achieve in this life? Where do I want to be? Where do I see myself in 5, 10 years, 20 years, 25 years time? Where do I see myself? What are my ambitions in life? Now you can have a number of aims, but we must have a vision. What is it you want to do? Do you want to be a doctor? Do you want to be an engineer? Do you want to be a successful businessman? Do you want to be a sportsman? Do you want to be someone who who is advanced in your Islamic knowledge? Do you want to be a sheikh? Do you want to be an astronaut? What do you want to be? Do you want to be someone who discovers new inventions? You want to be somebody who is a doctor and makes scientific research and finds cures? What is it you want to be? And that's something you have to ask yourself the question. When you ask yourself the question, you have to really, first of all, be practical about what you want, but also try to really have a nice high aim in life, because that's what Allah encourages us to always set the aim high. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, if you strive for Allah, if you give, if you sacrifice to the extent that you might go out at a time when there was fighting and you might go out and you are killed, if you do that, or you stay at home and you die in your homeland having not gone out, then you will get the same, you will enter Al-Jannah. You will not get the same reward, you will enter Al-Jannah. So the Prophet ﷺ said that if you go out and fight and are killed, or you stay at home, as long as you believe in Allah and the Messenger of Allah, you will enter Al-Jannah. So the Sahaba said, oh Messenger of Allah, this is great news. Shall we not tell everybody about this great news? Because, you know, if we're going to enter Al-Jannah just by saying La ilaha illallah, so what is, you know, this is excellent. But the Prophet ﷺ said, he said, you have to understand this, that Al-Jannah, paradise, is 100 levels that Allah has prepared for those who strive in the path of Allah. Between each level is like the distance between the earth and the sky. Between each level is like the distance between the earth and the sky. And in another narration, it's like the distance of traveling 500 years. So that's 100 levels. So yeah, you can enter Al-Jannah, but you might be just on the lower level. Whereas there are people above you, levels, 100 levels, between each level is distance of 500 years, distance between the earth and the heavens. So he said, if you want to do the minimum and you believe in Allah, you do your salah, you do the basics, you will enter Al-Jannah, inshaAllah, if you've kept away, if you've kept a clean slate. But you should have higher anticipation, because he said, the highest of these levels is what's known as Al-Firdaus. That is the highest level in Al-Jannah. That is the middle part of Al-Jannah, in the sense that it's in the center of Al-Jannah, or the highest, like almost like imagine the peak of the mountain is in the middle, that way, but it's the highest point. And from it, the rivers of all Al-Jannah, they spring out. And as you know, if you're someone who knows a little bit of your geography, you'll know that the spring water is the most freshest and tastiest of water. That's where the water starts. It springs from up there. And then he said, فَإِذَا سَأَلْتُمُ اللَّهِ فَاسْأَلُوهُ الْفِرْدَوْسَ الْأَعْلَى. If you're going to ask Allah, ask Him for this level, al-firdaus al-a'la. Because that is the highest anticipation. Always aim high. Don't just aim for I'll just enter al-Jannah, that's fine. Even in your search for the next life, aim high. Have your goal as something high, something vision. For example, if you wanted to be an engineer, don't just be happy that I'll just qualify as an engineer. That's it. No, try and have an aim that you'll become a top engineer, a qualified engineer in all aspects. An engineer who is building or constructing big projects. If you want to be a doctor, don't say I just want to be a doctor. Have the aspiration that I want to be a researcher, I want to be a consultant, I want to be. If you want to be a sportsman, don't just be I'll just be a sportsman playing. No, you should be winning gold. You should be at the front. You should be competing at the front. So this is the kind of ambition that you have, the aspiration, that your vision is high. If you ask Allah, ask Him for al-Jannah. Ask for something high. Seek something high. And obviously when you ask Allah for the Firdaus al-A'la, the highest Firdaus, that means you have to work for al-Firdaus al-A'la. Because you can't just ask Allah and then just sit down and do nothing. You have to ask Allah, you have to work. And that's why we say important part of winning is that you have to have a vision. It doesn't matter what age you are. You could be 7 years old watching this program now and saying, what's he talking about? You could be 50 years old. But whatever age you are, you can start at any age. It doesn't matter. Once a man came to one of the shuyukh in Mauritania, one of the Shinqiti sheikhs in Mauritania, and he was an old man, and he said, I want to learn Quran. It's like all my life, I've not really learned the Quran. I've not spent understanding the Quran, how to read the Quran. So I want. And this guy was an old guy. I don't know, it was 60 or 70-year-old guy. But he made that realization that he wants to start learning now. So the sheikh said to him, okay, that's fine. I'm happy for that. So he said, okay, when shall we start? He said, we'll start now. Sit down now. Let's start now. There's no time better than the present. But it doesn't matter. He didn't say to him, oh look, you're a 60-year-old, you're 70-year-old, it's a bit too late now for you to start learning the Quran. I've got priorities, I want to teach these small children. No, your age should never be a barrier or a hurdle for you achieving. You should always be ready to achieve. Whether you are young or old, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You have to have that vision. You have to and that starts there. Having that vision, we're talking about having a dream. We're talking about having the goal. And you should start to think about this. You start to visualize this goal. Obviously, when we talk about setting a vision, we're talking about saying something which is halal, something which is acceptable by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, something which is acceptable by law, obviously, as well, because that's part of accepting by doing something which is right, which is legal. And remember, the core has to be for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The intention has to be for Allah. If you're doing it for a wrong reason, if your vision is, look, I want to become a top scientist, I want to become the best, TV show presenter, I want to be the best chef and compete on, the chef, what they call him, chef mastermind or something. You want to achieve any of these just for the sake of people will say, mashallah, wow, this guy's so great. He's excellent, he's top, and you will not get any reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you're at danger there because, yeah, you might get your reward in this life, in the sense that people will say, wow, he's such a great chef, it's such a beautiful food, mashallah, but people will be happy with you, they will praise you, they will give you, they will give you good words, they might look up to you, they might applaud you, they might give you gold medal, whatever, but this will all end. They will end, because when the next life, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring everybody and will ask them, what did you do with your actions? What did you do with the things that I gave you? All these facilities that I made easy for you, how did you use it? And one of those people will come is the alim, the sheikh, the scholar. He will come, and the one who has recited the Quran, he has learned the knowledge, and Allah will say to him, this is what I have given you, I have allowed you the knowledge, I've given you the Quran, how did you use that? So he will say, oh Allah, I learned the knowledge for your sake. He is saying that my intention was for you, and I taught the people for your sake. And Allah will say, no, you're a liar. You're a liar, you didn't do it for Allah, you didn't do it for me. You did it for so that people will say he is a scholar. The people will say he's a great guy, he's a scholar, he knows what he's talking about, he's knowledgeable. Wow! People will start looking at, whenever you walk, they turn up. People, when you enter the room, everybody stands up. You didn't do it for me, Allah will say. And then he'll say, what about the Quran? He said, I learned the Quran and I used to recite the Quran with such a beautiful, I did that for your sake. Allah will say, you're a liar. Kadhabt. You didn't do it for me, you did it so that people will say, Qari. People will say, he's a Qari, mashallah, he's such a beautiful voice. And people would give you, so you did it for the wrong intention. And then, do you know what the sad thing is? Allah will say to the angels, take him, and the first people that the fire will be blazed with are these people. This guy is a Muslim. This guy is not just a Muslim, he's an alim, he's a scholar, he's someone who's learned the Quran, he's learned the knowledge, but he didn't have the core. It wasn't for Allah, he didn't do it for Allah, he did it for the wrong reasons. So his goal, even though it was even though he won, even though he made the goal in the dunya, in the next life he didn't succeed because his intention was not for Allah. So your core has to be for Allah, your intention has to be for Allah, so that you can actually achieve that. When you do that for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will be the winner. Because not only will you win in this life, but also Allah will be happy with you. And at the end of the day, what you should be aiming for in the center of all your activities is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is be with. So that's the first thing, is having a vision. And like I said, have a vision which is high, as we see the Prophet ﷺ taught us to, when you ask Allah for al-firdaus. But look at this other story, in which one of the great people of all time, one of the great people is, and also he is being named as the 5th Khalifa by people like Imam Shafi'i, called him, this is Umar ibn Abdul Aziz. Umar ibn Abdul Aziz was a great Khalifa in the Umayyad time. And what he said, one time he had an advisor who was called Raja. One time Raja said, I was with Umar when he was the governor of Medina. Okay, and he sent me out to buy a garment for him, and I purchased a garment for him for 500 dirhams. So he purchased that cloth for 500 dirhams, and then when he took it to Umar, Umar said, this is 500 dirhams, 500 silver coins. When he took it to Umar, when he was the governor of Medina, Umar looked at it, he said, this is such a great, but it's so cheap, if it had not been cheap. We're going to finish the story in a moment. We're just going to go for a break, but after the break, shall come back. Stay tuned, because we're just going to complete that story for you about Umar ibn Abdul Aziz when he saw that garment. Stay with us, inshallah.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته barnaamijka The Winning Goal waa barnaamij ku baxaya af Ingiriisi oo loogu talagalay dhalinyarada ku kortay wadamada reer galbeedka ee af Ingiriisida lagaga hadlo. Haddaba barnaamijkaasi oo lagu falaqayn doono waxyaabo badan oo ay dhalinyaradu ka faa'iideysan doonaan ayaa waxa aanu ku dhiirigelinaynaa waalidiinta inay barnaamijkaasi dhalinyarada ku xidhaan. Barnaamijkan ayaa waxa aad daawan doontaan habeen kasta oo Arbaca ah saacadu marka ay tahay 8:00 fiidnimo ilaa iyo 9:00 waxaana inoo daadihin doona Dr. Omer El-Hamdoon. Assalamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Welcome back to this show, The Winning Goal, in which we're talking about the importance of winning, and we're talking really in this program about having a vision, visualizing your vision and having some sort of reason, some sort of dream in your life, some sort of aim, inshallah. And what we are saying now is really that have set your vision as high. And we said that one of the advisors, Umar ibn Aziz, when he was the governor of Medina, he went and he purchased for him a nice garment, and that was worth 500 dirhams. So that was a very expensive garment, 500 silver coins. When he took it to Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, he was the governor of Medina at that time. So when he took it to Umar ibn Aziz, he said, this is such a nice garment, had it not been so cheap. Had it not been so cheap. So obviously Raja, took that. Then later on in life, when Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, later on in life, he became a Khalifa. And he said to him, and he went out and he asked him to buy a similar garment. So he went out to buy that garment, he went and bought it, but he couldn't. He bought something which was, it was 5 dirhams. Similar garment, something to wear, 5 dirhams. And when he bought it to Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, now he's the Khalifa, he's the ruler, he is the leader. At his time he was, leading vast amounts of Muslim land, and there was so much wealth that spread throughout the land, to the extent that the money could not be, there was no poor people anymore. They had so much money, there was no poor people to give sadaqah, to charity, and we'll talk about that in a moment. So when he was the Khalifa and he was the leader, and this garment was 5 dirhams compared to 500 before, Umar said, this is such a beautiful garment had it not been so expensive. So when Raja heard this, he started crying. So Umar said, why are you crying? He said, because I remember when you were in charge of Medina and you sent me to buy you a garment, I bought you something for 500 silver coins and you didn't like it. You said, no, this is, you said, this is too cheap. And now you're saying too expensive. So Umar said, look, let me tell you what. I have a nafs, myself is always aspiring, wanting to achieve. So I aspire to marry Fatima, the daughter of the Khalifa, and I managed to marry her. And he proposed and he got married. When I married her, then myself aspired to be the governor of Medina. And when I aspired, had the vision, aim to become the governor, I became the governor of Medina. Then after that, I aspired to become the Khalifa. And I managed to achieve that as well and became the Khalifa. But when I reached the Khalifa, which is like the highest position at that time in the world, there's nothing else to aspire to. So I aspired for Al-Jannah. That's it. My nafs just wants Al-Jannah now, because there's nothing else to aspire to in this life. And so when you aspire to Al-Jannah, you are very aware of the money. And so he saw that spending 5 silver coins on a garment was too much, it was a waste of money. So here the point being is, you can see how this guy had the vision. The vision was high. The vision was for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and so he set the vision high. And that's what we have to do, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, inshallah, we're going to be starting receiving your calls. If you have any comments or any calls, then please phone us on this number, which is at the bottom of the screen. Yes, assalamu alaikum, we have a caller. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
What is your name and what is your question?
My name is Tahara, and I would like to tell you that I really like this program because it's really telling us how to plan our future, and it's all about our religion, and it's telling us about lots of du'as, and it's really nice.
MashaAllah, thank you very much, Zahra. That's very nice of you to phone us to tell us this.
My brother also wants to speak to you.
Yes, okay. He's welcome. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Sadiq.
Welcome, Sadiq. How are you?
Alaikum salam.
How are you? Are you alright?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, what would you like to say?
I like this program because it inspired people to become Muslim.
MashaAllah. Excellent.
And it also helps people to learn the Quran.
MashaAllah, excellent, good. Jazakallah khair. Well, thank you for calling.
And to know about the deen more.
Yeah, MashaAllah. Well, thank you for calling and giving us your positive comments.
Especially people who can't read.
Sorry? Okay, alright, Jazakallah khair. Well, thank you very much for that call. It's nice to, MashaAllah, from Zahra and Sadiq, thank you for your call to express their happiness with this show. And alhamdulillah, I mean, the idea of this show, really, when we're talking about winning, is we want you viewers out there to start thinking about yourselves. Think about what you want to do, what you want to do in this life, and how you want to achieve, how you want to win, and have a vision in life. Where do you want to be? Have a vision that, I want to be able to memorize the Quran. I want to be able to, I don't know, you could be saying, I want to be a successful businessman, and help to construct buildings and projects in Somalia, or in Iraq, or in Palestine. I want to use my talents. For example, you could have such a nice voice, a beautiful voice. You could say, I'll use my talents and sing nasheed, and to convey the message of Islam. Or you could be someone who knows how to write. You could be someone who knows how to to use the different types of social media today. We all heard about this girl who was 12 years old, and she became so famous because she had a small website that she was just writing about school meals. She just wrote, oh, this is our school meal today, and she was commenting about the school meal, and she became so famous because she actually used her skills and her talents, and she put them towards criticizing, the meals and how it was, became famous. So you have that ability. It doesn't matter, like I say, how old you are. You just have to put your mind to it, and it starts by having the vision. Seeing, where do you want to be? Where do I want to be? What do I want to achieve? And when you do that, you can start to then implement it. And inshallah, that's what we'll be looking at in the future. So going back to what we were saying before about Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, because he was such a successful man and he aspired, and because he was a just ruler, someone who ruled justly, someone who was fair, someone who didn't oppress anybody, someone who didn't do anything wrong to people, because he was just, because he was fair, Allah gave barakah in his life and in all the Muslim land, such that there was no poor people anymore. People became so rich, there was no poor people anymore. And because there was no poor people anymore, they didn't know where to give the charity. And this was, subhanAllah, one of the things that the Prophet ﷺ said. There'll come a time when a person will go around, he has some charity, he wants to give sadaqah, he will not find it. You'll not find anybody who will accept his sadaqah. Everybody becomes so rich because of the barakah. But nowadays, you can see in our world today, because people are not just, people are cheating. Throughout the world, the rulers are cheating, they're oppressing the people, they're cheating, and it's happening everywhere. Sometimes they are cheating, sometimes food is being thrown away in the sea, but just to keep the prices up high. Because if you have too much food, the price is going to go down. If it's too much food, low demand, low prices. But the other way around is when and that's why they throw food in the sea. So where's the justice in this? So there's no barakah. We have another call. Yes, Assalamu alaikum.
Hello. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. What's your name?
Mustafa.
Muhammad? Mustafa.
Huh.
Okay, Mustafa, mashallah. What is your question, or what would you like to say?
I just want to say that I like this program, and I want you to say more stuff every once a week. Every once a week, I want you to say more Islamic stories.
Okay, Mustafa, I can't hear you very well. Don't put your mouth too close to the telephone. Just pull it away a little bit, so your voice is going a little bit fuzzy.
Okay.
Just say again.
I like the program, so I want you to say more stories about Islamic stories once a week, because I like the program.
Okay, mashallah, jazakallah. So you want more stories about Islam and things?
Islam. More stories about Islam.
More stories?
Yeah.
Inshallah, yes, inshallah. I mean, next week we're going to have, because today we're talking about, jazakallah khair for that. Last week we talked about the issue of actually having a vision. But next time, inshallah, what we're going to be talking about is not just having the vision, but it's about how to try to be, one important thing about when you have a vision, you have a goal in your mind, is you have to keep on trying to achieve that goal. You have to be persistent and consistent and continuous. You can't give up. You start giving up, that's it, you failed. You have to keep going. So inshallah, next week there's going to be quite a few stories in this regards as well to talk about that. Now, if you remember, we said that you have to, when you have the vision, set your vision high, but also there's other things that you have to have about your vision as well. Your vision has to be realistic, which means that when you make the vision, it has to be something that is real to you, something that you can try and achieve. You can't just sort of, I don't know, you might have a vision that I want to go and live on Jupiter or something, or I want to go and become an astronaut to the sun or something like that. You know, you have to have something that's realistic. Don't have a vision which is not realistic. Have a vision that's realistic, something that you can achieve, inshallah. Is achieve everything. You know, all these people that you see around you, they started off from nothing. They started off. Nobody was born into this life having. You know, you can't even, when you're born, can't even speak. You know, you don't even know anything. Allah says, "Wallahu akhrajakum min butuni ummahatikum la ta'lamuna shay'a." When Allah made you come out from the wombs of your mother, you don't know anything. You have nothing. You have no knowledge. You can't even talk. You can't feed yourself. And then you grow. Allah enables you to grow, gives you the things that come around for you to grow. So that's why, inshallah, what we have to do is we have to make sure that with our vision, we have to be realistic, and we have to say something that we can try and keep on going, inshallah. Also, try to make your vision attractive. You know, something that you want to do. Don't just do something for the sake of just pleasing others. You know, what is it that you want to achieve in life? But by this, I don't mean that you say, oh, I don't know, I just want to be, my vision, I just want to work at McDonald's or work at, at one of the takeaways, or there's nothing, that we have to have something which you don't just have something basic. Working at a pound shop, or working in a supermarket, or in a takeaway, anybody could do that. You don't have to have great skills to do that. But it's not just about what you want to do. Don't just live your life at the basics. You got to be at the top, aspire. But don't force yourself to do something that you're not happy to do. For example, you don't like blood, and you don't like, you can't force yourself to become a doctor, for example, because you just don't like that. That's something that you can't, Or if you are someone who doesn't like animals, you can't be a vet. So do you see what I'm saying? That's the kind of attitude that we have to have. Another thing about our vision, in addition to it being attractive and something that we like, it has to be, try to have something which is a speciality, something which you like to do as well. Do we have a caller? Okay, we have a caller, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum. Hello? Have we lost the caller? I think we've lost the caller. Okay. And also remember that when you have something that you want to target, it has to be something that interests you. So follow your interests, follow your desires in setting that goal. And when you set that goal, then you can start working to achieve it, inshallah ta'ala. And we have to remember that success, being successful, having lots of money, or having a good job, having a good degree, having a beautiful home, all these things, that's not the key to happiness. Success is not the key to happiness. But happiness is the key to success. You have to be happy inside. You have to be happy inside you. Someone that actually is happy with himself, happy with Allah, is pleased with what's around him. Have the qana'ah. That's the kind of things that you have to be happy with. Look at someone like, the people from the past. They didn't have food. They didn't have lots of, big houses and fast cars and lots of money, but they were happy. They were happy with themselves. They were happy because they were happy that Allah has guided them to Islam. They were happy that Allah gave them things in their life. They were happy to achieve in their life. All these things made them happy. And because they were happy with Allah, they were happy with their ibadah, then they succeeded. And people remember them in a nice way. People remember them in a good way. If you look at Qarun, he had money. Okay, he had money, he had lots of wealth, and Allah tells us that the wealth that Qarun had was so much that the keys to the wealth were so heavy. Difficult for people to carry these keys because there was so much wealth, so much treasure, so much. But Qarun, he rejected Allah and he didn't accept that Allah gave him, so the earth swallowed him. The earth swallowed him. So he was a rich man, he was successful in the means that he had the money, he had the wealth, but he wasn't favorable, and we don't like him because he was not associated with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whereas someone might be poor and has nothing, but he associates himself with Allah, then people love him, people remember him, people say, MashaAllah, what a great man that was. Because he actually, he's ready to give, he's ready to sacrifice, he's ready to go that extra mile, and that's what it's about, having that vision and having that success with that vision. So when we talk about winning goal, we're talking about having that success, and part of it we said is having the vision, seeing what you want to do and asking the important questions, inshallah ta'ala, because with asking the questions you can inshallah achieve great heights. Yes, we have another caller. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. What is your name?
Assalamu wa rahmatullah.
Welcome to the show, The Winning Goal. What is your name and what is your question or comment?
Yeah, my name is Nuruddin.
Welcome. Yes.
Yeah, I'm calling from Nairobi.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Excellent.
And Sheikh, I wanted to ask the winning goal of how to achieve qana'a.
Oh, MashaAllah. Qana'a. MashaAllah.
Aywa.
Very good. Jazakallah khair. That's a good question. Because al-qana'a, Jazakallah khair, thanks for that question. Al-qana'atu, as some of the wise people said, they said, al-qana'atu kanzun la yafna. The qana'a, which really means satisfaction, being content, and that's what we were talking about here, is that when you are happy, happiness is the key to the success, because when you are happy and you are satisfied, then that is a treasure in itself. It's a treasure, but not only a treasure, it will not end, because you will always be happy with that. You will always be happy. Yes, we have a caller. We have a caller?
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, what is your name and what is your question?
Yeah, my name is Osman ibn Muhammad.
Oh, assalamu alaikum, Uthman. Yes, what is your question, Uthman? Or your comment?
Hello?
Yes, hi. Listen through the telephone. Don't listen through the television. Through the telephone. Speak through the telephone.
Can I hear you? Yeah, I'm from Kenya.
Okay, what is your question? What is your question? Okay, I think we lost that. It was if you are going to phone, please phone in. Listen through the handset. Don't listen through the television, because there's a little bit of a time delay. So anyway, we're talking. The brother was asking. Brother also phoned from Nairobi. He was asking about al-qana'a. How do you achieve the qana'a, which is the satisfaction and the thing about satisfaction, like we say, is that when you have the satisfaction, the happiness, the content that what you have, you will actually unlock a lot of the reasons for happiness, because you will be happy, you will be satisfied with whatever you have. That's what qana'a is. Qana'a is you are happy even if you have nothing, you'll be happy, because there's bigger things in life for you, and that is your link to the things outside the dunya. And who is outside the dunya? It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's the one who is outside, and He is the source of happiness, because He says, وَأَنَّهُ هُوَ أَضَّحَكَ وَأَبْكَى. It is He, Allah, who made people laugh, and it's He who made them cry, because He has the power. He is the one who will make you happy, He is the one who will make you sad. So He can make you, so if you link to Him and you depend on Him, then He will give you that qana'a. So that's the key to qana'a, is linking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, having the iman with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and linking to Him. Secondly, by reading the Quran, because with reading the Quran regularly, you actually have that association with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because the Quran is the book of Allah, it's the word of Allah, which you can associate. Thirdly is by doing the good deeds and associating yourself with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by doing the good deeds, the good actions, the work, the salat, the siyam, all these things, good deeds will help you be associated to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And fourthly, you have to know, and this is what everybody knows, it doesn't matter where you are from, it doesn't matter what ethnicity you are, it doesn't matter what color, what language you speak, everybody knows this, one day you will die. One day you will die. And that will mean that that everything will come to an end. So we have a caller, Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu rahmatullah.
Welcome, Muhammad, to the show. What is your question or comment?
Thank you very much.
You are welcome.
Yes, my question is, I'm gonna ask what's the meaning of winning goal first?
What is the meaning of winning?
Winning goal.
What is the meaning of the winning goal?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the second question.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Listen through your phone. Through your phone, not through the television. The phone. Speak to me through the phone.
The second question is that
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask.
Yes.
For example, when the person gonna be happiness, and also, for example, there is with you some more problems in your heart.
Yes.
For example, the faith.
For example, what? Sorry? Disease?
You know, for example, when with you for some problems in your heart, and that, for example, forces to you are not getting for happiness. What can you do?
Okay. Muhammad, can I just ask you, have you been watching the show? Did you watch the show from the beginning?
Sorry?
Have you watched the show from the beginning today?
No, this is from my first time that I'm seeing only for this program's going on today.
Alright, okay, alright. Because if you, okay, thank you very much for the call. So Muhammad was asking, what is the show about the winning goal? Obviously, the winning goal this is the third show that we've had. So the other shows are actually on YouTube. If you look up YouTube and see what the other shows are, it'll explain to you what we're talking about in the winning goal. Because this is a program about how, as a Muslim, can you become a winner. فالح مفلح فائز, all these things, how can you succeed? And goal, we're not talking about football here. I know that goal is football, but talking about goal is having an aim. How can I win? How can I achieve? This is what we're talking about here. So that's the essence of this program. But I advise you to go back and listen to the first two shows to just understand more about that, inshallah. We have another caller online. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
What is your name and what is your question or comment?
My name is Asha, and my question was that in Islam, do you always have to cover up like fully? Because my mom always asks me to.
Okay. MashaAllah. And okay, that's a good question. Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much. How old are you, Aisha?
I'm 12 years old.
12, okay. All right, good. That's a good question. Okay, so we'll come back to that question in a moment, but just because we had the previous question, one person was asking about qana'ah, satisfaction, and we said if you want that, you have to link yourself to Allah, read the Quran, do good deeds, and ask Allah, dua, ask Allah to give you the satisfaction, and understand that no matter how long you live, there's always death. And death is enough for a person to be reminded. Brother Muhammad was asking, sometimes what if somebody is happy, has happiness, but there are things in his life which make him unhappy. And I think the thing about being unhappy is you have to ask yourself the question, why am I unhappy? Why am I happy? Just simple, ask yourself the question. Sometimes something happens bad, maybe somebody says a bad word to you, maybe somebody annoys you, maybe your wife is annoying you, maybe your husband's annoying you, maybe the children are annoying you, maybe your parents are. Who is annoying you? Why are you unhappy? Is it because you don't have money? Is it because you don't have a job? Is it because what? You have to ask that question. And when you ask that question, you have to then think about the following three questions. Firstly, is what's happening to you? Is it with Allah's knowledge or not? Does Allah know about it or not? And the answer is yes, Allah knows about it. Secondly, is your rizq, what's coming to you, is it written by Allah or is it not written? And the answer is written. That means Allah has guided you to that rizq. And thirdly, the reason for your unhappiness, is it something that is in your control or is it with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ultimately with Allah? And the answer is Allah. So the reason is, why should you be unhappy? If everything that's happening to you Allah knows about and you are linked to Allah with your dua, with your good deeds, then don't worry, be happy. Yes, we have another caller. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Hello?
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Yes, what is your name and what is your comment or question?
There's Hargeisa, Somaliland.
Oh, mashallah, from Somalia. Welcome. What is your question or comment?
First,
What is your question?
I'm questioning Islam.
Yes, yes. What is the question?
First question is Islamic.
Yes. Okay. You can ask the question. What is it? What's the question? Yeah, I don't know. The brother was wanting to ask an Islamic question, but we didn't hear the question. Then Aisha asked, do you have to always cover up as a Muslim woman or a Muslim girl? And the answer is that covering up, wearing hijab, is part of the Muslim woman identity. And the Muslim man. The man also wears his hijab in the sense that he covers up. There's certain coverage. As a Muslim, whether you're a man or not one, you have to cover up, you have to dress properly. But we're talking about woman covering her body, her hair, her head, and so on. Then that is part of Islam. And obviously when you are at a certain age, your parents start to encourage you to cover up because you're trying to learn about that. So some parents encourage their children to cover up starting at 7, some at 10, and so on. But definitely when you reach the age of sort of like 11, 12, you start to cover up because that's part of your identity and that's part of what Allah has told you to do, cover up. And because Allah has told you to do that, you say as a Muslim, you say, Allah, we hear and we obey you. And so we cover up, inshallah ta'ala. Whether it's a question of covering the face, I don't know if the question is about what covering the face or not, but covering the face is a difference of opinion between the scholars. Some scholars say you have to cover the face, and others say no, you don't have to cover the face, you just have to cover the rest of the body except the face and the hands. So there's different opinions about this matter. And it's like in this country, you're free to do whatever you want. You want to cover your whole body, you cover. You don't want to cover your face, it's up to you. But the thing is to listen to Allah and adhere to His teachings, inshallah. Okay, we have another caller. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sheikh.
Ahlan wa sahlan, welcome. What is your name and what is your question?
My name is Faduma. I'm calling from Holland.
MashaAllah.
Basically, I have one question, please.
Yes, please ask.
Can we celebrate in Islam birthdays?
Oh, mashallah. Can we celebrate birthdays?
In Islam,
Okay.
yes, please.
Jazakallah khair, Fatima from Holland. Thank you very much for that question. So Fatima is asking, can we celebrate birthdays in Islam? Now, birthdays, when we talk about birthdays, obviously we're talking about somebody every year has a special occasion for him, in which obviously he's getting older and older now. The early Muslims and even even the late Muslims, even now, they didn't really celebrate birthdays because they thought of birthdays, celebrating birthdays was more of a tradition of people who used to not worship Allah. People used to worship statues. They used to think that that was the tradition of celebrating birthdays. So even they didn't celebrate the birthday of great people. Obviously they knew when they were born, and we have a big celebration when you are born. The moment that you are born, your father has, or your mother, whoever has or your grandfather, they actually make a meal called aqiqah, and they celebrate with the people to celebrate that you are born. So it's like to be happy that you are born. So in that regards, that's like the first birthday celebration that you get. After that, there's nothing in Islam that says that you should celebrate birthdays, because in reality, when you celebrate birthday, what you are doing is you are just remembering how you're getting older. And really, a Muslim, when he gets older, it's not something to be happy about. It's something to be upset in a way, because you are coming closer and closer to your end. Because every day that you live, you are like a calendar. Every day, one paper is removed from your life. One paper is removed and there will come a time when you have no more papers. So in that regards, it's there. But if somebody, on the other hand, some of the scholars say, if a parent wants to use the birthday as an occasion just to say to the child, look, you've been a good child and this is just like something special for you. It doesn't make it like a party and bring all the children and cakes and presents, because that's something that's not sort of in Islam as such. But if it's just an occasion to say, oh look, my son, you are now 12 years old, congratulations, happy birthday, inshallah the rest of your life will be good, then that is different from someone having a party and inviting people and making a big event out of it when it is not really one of our Eids. Okay, we have another caller. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. What is your name? And
My name is Nasra. I'm 10 years old and I'm calling from London.
MashaAllah. Welcome to the show, The Winning Goal. What is your question, or what do you like to say?
My question is, what do you have to do to be a good Muslim in the future?
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Jazakallah khair. That's a very nice question, but it's also a very big question. But thank you for that question. We'll try and just answer it very briefly. So Nusra is asking, what do you have to do to be a good Muslim? And to be a good Muslim, you have to do the 5 pillars basically, which is to believe that there is no God except Allah, and by doing that you have to follow Allah. Everything that Allah says to you do, you do. Everything that Allah says to you don't do, you don't do. And then you believe that Muhammad ﷺ is the messenger of Allah, so everything that he says to you do, you do. Everything that he says to you don't do, you don't do. So that's one thing, believing in Allah and his messenger ﷺ. Secondly, you pray 5 times a day. And that means you have to learn about salah, you have to learn about wudu, you have to learn about what it means to be pure. Thirdly, you have to fast Ramadan. If you have money, you give zakah and you go to Hajj. So these are the 5 pillars of Islam, which are the main things of making you a good Muslim. But the essence of all that, having a good intention for Allah and being a good person as well. Because being a good person is part of being a good Muslim. Being good to your neighbors, being good to your parents, being good to your brothers and sisters, being good at school, to your teachers, having a vision for a winning goal, that's part of being a good person. Being kind, if you see rubbish on the floor, you pick it up. If you see something that's harming people, you pick it up. You don't say bad things, you don't lie, you don't swear, you don't do things which are annoying. All these things are part of being a good Muslim. Okay, and we have Abdurrahman on the line. Assalamu alaikum, Abdurrahman.
Wa alaikum assalam. My name is Abdurrahman from Sheffield.
MashaAllah, welcome.
Yeah, and my question to you, Sheikh, is in football, are you allowed to wear shorts in school or like playing for a club?
Alright, okay, are you allowed to wear shorts?
Yeah, because in Islam, it's like haram to wear anything that's like above your knee.
Okay, alright, Jazakallah khair. That's a good question. About Abdurrahman's asking about shorts. Now, according to our Shafi'i scholars, they said that the awra of a man or a boy is between his navel, the belly button, and the knees. So that is the actual awra. So the navel and the knees, they are not included in the awra. So you can show your knees and you can show your belly button, but anything between those, you have to guard them. So you have to be careful of, you can wear shorts, but they just have to be a little bit long. So there, you don't have to wear like tracksuits every time. You can wear shorts, but they have to be, they shouldn't show your thighs. If they're very short and they show your thighs, then no, don't wear those. Yes, Abdul Nasir, Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Abdul Nasir, where are you phoning from?
USA.
MashaAllah, from the USA, MashaAllah, welcome. What is your question or your comment?
One of my son, he have a question about this. 8 years old, he behind with me, so he said he gonna talk to the sheikh to ask him the one question.
Okay, your son has a question, yeah, is he on the line?
Yeah, I'm on the line.
No, your son wants to ask the question, or you're gonna ask the question?
That's the he's here, so
Okay.
he wanted to ask the question. So
Yeah, okay, let him ask the question.
so what would be?
Hello.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
You are Mus'ab?
Yeah.
Okay, Mus'ab, what is your question?
USA.
Yes, you're from the USA. What is your question? What would you like to say?
Why do we have to pray?
Why do we have to pray?
Why do we have to pray?
Okay, Mus'ab, that's a nice question, inshallah. We'll answer it, inshallah ta'ala. Thank you very much. Phoning all the way from the USA, Mus'ab and Abdul Nasir, Jazakumullah khair. So I think we're running out of time very quickly, but we have one more caller. Inshallah, we'll answer the question, and then that's it. Inshallah, we're going to have to stop there. Mus'ab was asking, why do we pray? And the very simple answer is because Allah told us to pray. Allah wants you to connect with Him, because you here as a human, you need someone that you can turn to, someone to ask, someone who will give you things. And who is that? It's Allah, because He's in control. He has the power, He has the strength. He's the one that gives you rizq. He's the one that helps you in all ways. So you have to turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when you turn to Allah, Allah is the one who will give you, inshallah, and provide for you. And by doing that, you pray, you make dua, and so on. So that's the reason why we pray, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, so we have a last caller who is Ahmed, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, Ahmed.
Alaikum assalam.
Welcome to the winning goal. What is your question or your comment?
What is the benefit of Ayatul Kursi?
The benefit of Ayatul Kursi.
Yeah.
Okay, Jazakallah khair. That's a good question. Thank you very much. So just before we answer that question, I just want to summarize that some people have asked, obviously, what does it mean to be a good Muslim? And we said that. What does it mean why do we pray? And we said that to pray, being connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it all pours down to having the winning goal by understanding your vision and turning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Ahmed now is asking, what is the benefits of Ayatul Kursi? Ayatul Kursi is the best ayah in the Quran, as the Prophet ﷺ mentioned. It is a verse which will protect you when you go to sleep from the shaitan. So when you go to sleep, make sure you read Ayatul Kursi before you go to sleep. Thirdly, Ayatul Kursi is something that will, inshallah, make you enter Al-Jannah. So if you read it after every salah, because the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever recites Ayatul Kursi after a salah, nothing will prevent him from entering Jannah except death. Meaning that when he dies, he will go to Al-Jannah if you read Ayatul Kursi. Ayatul Kursi in some ahadith is also equal to a quarter of the Quran in terms of its reward. So it is a great surah to read as well. And also because Ayatul Kursi is something that contains important information in terms of our aqeedah, in terms of our iman, about Allah, who Allah is, His power, His ability, His knowledge, and in that regards. So it's important for us to learn Ayatul Kursi. It's important for us to read it after every salah, that we should read it before going to sleep, and we read it in the morning and the evening. And if you do that, then Allah protects you and provides for you happiness. And also when you leave the house, you should read Ayatul Kursi as well. As some of the Sahaba, when they used to come into a new house, they would go to the four corners of the house and they would read Ayatul Kursi, because it protects from the shaitan. My dear viewers, brothers and sisters throughout the world, thank you very much for joining us today on The Winning Goal. Unfortunately, the show has come to an end. Inshallah, we'll be with you next week when we carry on this topic of the winning goal, and inshallah we'll talk about being persistent and consistent with your vision and achieving the winning goal. So join us next week at 8 o'clock on Wednesday with the show Winning Goal. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
generation, if they're going to draft these young black men and send them over to Korea or South Vietnam to face 800 million Chinese,